In the dead of night on September 13th, 2025, a swarm of Ukrainian drones descends like vengeful shadows over Russia's Baltic lifeline. Explosions rip through the darkness, sinking a colossal 200,000-ton oil tanker in seconds, flames devouring steel as black crude bleeds into the sea. This isn't just an attack, it's the spark that could ignite World War III in the Russia-Ukraine war. Welcome to Global Tactical Alert, your frontline source for unfiltered insights into global conflicts and the Russia-Ukraine war. If you're not subscribed yet, hit that button now. Don't miss the next bombshell that could change everything. Let's rewind the clock on this powder keg. The Russia-Ukraine war erupted in 2022 when Russian forces stormed across borders, seizing chunks of territory in a blitz that shocked the world. But Ukraine didn't fold. They fought back with grit and innovation, turning the tide from conventional battles to asymmetric warfare. Fast forward to 2025. Russia's economy hinges on oil exports, pumping billions to fuel its military machine. Ports like Primorsk aren't just docks. They're the veins carrying Moscow's lifeblood. A surge in Ukrainian drone attacks on Russia's oil refineries has cut processing crude at home and led to a surge in Moscow's crude exports. This strike? It's the culmination of years of escalating hits, from early border skirmishes to deep strike raids that expose Russia's vulnerabilities. Picture it, a nation under siege where every barrel of oil lost tightens the noose on Putin's war chest. Now, strap in for the heart-pounding play-by-play. What if a handful of low-cost drones could outsmart a superpower's defenses? That's the drama unfolding in this Ukrainian drone attack. From hidden launch pads in Ukraine's northern plains, dozens of AI-powered beasts, think Lyut 96 models, slower but smarter than Iran's Shaheds, lift off under starlit skies. They're not flying blind, loaded with 30 kilo of high-heat explosives. They weave through radar gaps like ghosts in the machine. Ukrainian drones disrupt Russia's key western oil terminal for the first time, forcing suspensions at Primorsk, Russia's Baltic powerhouse. In our speculative lens, imagine the swarm splitting into three deadly prongs. One hugs Belarusian forests, dodging Nebo-M radars. Another slips through industrial belts, outmaneuvering S-400 batteries. The third dives low over hills, blending into bird flocks on screens. It's a masterclass in deception. False satellite echoes create a digital storm, overwhelming Russian operators. Modern air defenses rarely fail, but they can be overwhelmed. Could this be the blueprint for future wars, where brains beat brawn? The drones aren't dumb bombs. Their Skynode AI switches to inertial navigation amid jamming, sharing encrypted bursts like a hive mind. As they converge on Primorsk, decoys draw fire, expensive missiles wasted on cheap lures. Then, the Alpha strike. Drones slam into tankers, ripping through engineering spaces and fuel lines. Flames erupt in a hellish inferno, secondary blasts cascading like dominoes. Ukraine has struck Russia's largest oil terminal on the Baltic Sea during one of its biggest overnight drone attacks in months. In this high-drama what-if, the port crumbles, command hubs shattered, power grids fried, tankers listing and sinking amid oily plumes. But the action doesn't stop there. Fast forward to October, and the hits keep coming. On the night of October 12th to 13, drones operated by Ukraine's security service and special operations forces strike the Saratov oil refinery, a historic beast deep in Russian territory. Imagine the hum of engines piercing the silence, swarms descending on fuel tanks and processing units, igniting fires that light up the horizon like a false dawn. This isn't isolated. It's part of a relentless campaign. As of early October, these attacks have shut down nearly 38% of Russian oil refineries, sparking an oil crisis inside Russia with sales plummeting and shortages biting hard. Russian forces are adapting their long-range drone and missile tactics, targeting Ukrainian energy infrastructure in retaliation. But Ukraine's strikes keep landing blows. Ukrainian drones also hit an oil terminal in Crimea, starting a massive fire and an ammunition depot, turning stockpiles into pyres. American intelligence shared with Kyiv has enabled these strikes on important Russian energy assets, including oil refineries far beyond the front line. The tactical genius? It's all about asymmetry. Cheap, intelligent drones forcing Russia to burn through high-value defenses. Each missile Russia fires costs more than a dozen drones, bleeding their resources dry. In our speculative scenario, picture operators in underground bunkers, fingers hovering over controls, as AI-guided predators slip through cracks in the Iron Curtain. The slower speed of these drones, deliberate, giving onboard systems time to adapt, identify targets, and strike with surgical precision. What if this evolves into daily raids, turning Russia's vast territory into a no-man's land of constant alerts? The deception layers are mind-bending. Satellite modules create electronic mirages, flooding radars with fake threats while real drones skim treetops. Decoy groups climb high, drawing fire and wasting interceptors, while the main force closes in. By the time defenses react, it's too late. The port's pump stations explode, fuel lines rupture, and black smoke chokes the sky. In Saratov, the same playbook. Low-altitude approaches exploit terrain, overwhelming point defenses with staggered attacks. Fires rage, compressors melt, and control systems fail in a chain reaction of destruction. This isn't brute force. It's a chess game where Ukraine anticipates every Russian move, turning their own doctrines against them. But amid the fireworks, let's not forget the human heartbreak. This geopolitical crisis bleeds real lives. Picture frantic dock workers at Primorsk, floodlights piercing the smoke as alarms wail. Families in nearby Russian towns choke on acrid fumes, evacuating homes as oil slicks poison the Baltic. On the Ukrainian side, operators in bunkers hold their breath, knowing each launch risks retaliation that could flatten their cities. Think of the stories, like Russian civilians facing fuel shortages, lines stretching for miles as prices soar, or Ukrainian refugees, already scarred by years of bombardment, seeing this as a desperate bid for survival. What if your livelihood vanished in a blaze? Fuel shortages are hitting civilians hardest. In Crimea, after the oil terminal strike, locals scramble amid blackouts and raging fires, their daily lives upended by the roar of explosions. The emotional toll? It's a gut-wrenching reminder that in global conflicts, victory's price is paid in tears. Mothers shield kids from fallout, sailors abandon ship in icy waters, and communities reel from the chaos. These aren't faceless stats. They're people caught in the crossfire, their dreams shattered by the thunder of war. And now, the environmental fallout. This isn't just about steel and fire. It's a toxic nightmare unfolding. Oil spills from sunken tankers bleed into the Baltic Sea, blackening waves and suffocating marine life. Imagine seabirds coated in crude, struggling to fly, fisheries poisoned for years to come. In Saratov and Crimea, refinery blasts release plumes of toxic smoke, blanketing regions in haze that chokes lungs and contaminates soil. Ecosystems teeter on the brink. What if this spreads, turning vital waterways into dead zones? The long-term damage? Cleanup battles that drain billions, leaving scars on the planet. This geopolitical crisis isn't confined to borders. It's a global wound where every explosion echoes in rising pollution and endangered wildlife. Zoom out and the stakes skyrocket. This isn't isolated. It's a quake reshaping the world order. Russia's oil exports crippled. A Ukrainian drone attack on Russia's northwestern port of Primorsk has for the first time forced the suspension of loadings at its key Baltic oil export terminal. Daily losses? Analysts peg it at $40 to $50 million, fueling Moscow's war machine less and less. Ukrainian strikes have slashed Russian fuel exports by 17% since early 2022, triggering shortages and price spikes globally. The economic ripple? It's a tsunami. Europe shivers without Russian energy. US gas prices spike amid the fallout. Ukrainian drone strikes have slashed Russia's fuel exports to the lowest level since early 2022. In Russia, an oil crisis brews. Sales plummet. Refineries idle at nearly 10% below capacity. What if this escalates? China watches hungrily. NATO tenses. Could alliances fracture? Ukraine's drone sanctions are working, but don't expect a Russian revolt. Winners? Ukraine gains leverage. Losers? Putin facing internal cracks. In our what-if scenario, this sparks cyber retaliations or broader invasions, tipping global conflicts toward chaos. The Russia-Ukraine war could drag in superpowers, rewriting maps and economies. Is this the dawn of a new Cold War, or worse? On October 10th, a huge Russian drone and missile attack struck 2 Ukrainian thermal power stations in Kiev, causing hours-long blackouts. In its latest barrage, Russia launched more than 300 drones and 37 missiles to target infrastructure across Ukraine in overnight attacks. Russia launched a large-scale missile attack at Ukraine in the early hours of October 16th, targeting cities in several regions. How successful is Ukraine's gas war against Russia? It's forcing Moscow to adapt, but the pressure mounts. This episode marks a turning point in asymmetric warfare, prompting a broader debate about protecting critical energy infrastructure in the era of small, networked weapons. But hold on, this drama's far from over. What if Russia's next move unleashes hypersonic fury, or Ukraine unveils even deadlier swarms? With escalating strikes, like the recent hit on Saratov refinery, the next chapter could see ports ablaze from Crimea to Siberia. Stay locked in. Our next alert drops soon on potential NATO interventions or oil market meltdowns. If this breakdown fired you up, smash that like button to fuel the fight for truth. Your thumbs up keeps us battling misinformation. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Could this end the Russia-Ukraine war or spark something bigger? And subscribe now. Hit the bell for instant alerts on global conflicts. Don't get left in the dark. Join the Global Tactical Alert Squad today. Share this with a friend who needs to wake up to the stakes. This is more than a headline. It's the world we're living in. Stay vigilant.